Hello, everyone. You all probably know about how much I really don't like the algorithm on YouTube. I know everyone jokes about praising it, but I think they really just hate it. I do as well. I can't show more than a few seconds of a movie or anything in a video, otherwise it'll get copyrighted or sometimes striked as well. It's really stupid, and I don't like it at all. But of course, I'm gonna do something interesting. So I'm reviewing one of my recently brand new favorite movies of all time, which is Brazil, released in 1985, which is the dystopian black comedy film by Terry Gilliam. And I want to do something different. I'm gonna upload two versions of the video and see if one gets copyright claimed, and see if the how do I describe this? And see if the one I'm gonna do two versions of this video, one with clips and one without clips, and see which one gets copyrighted. Just as a little experiment. Also, I'm talking about uh, really bad laws, and then this film is about totalitarianism. So yeah. So I watched Brazil not too long ago, and it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I knew that was gonna be funny going in, but man, I was completely like changed by the end of this. It's such a surreal, funny, dark, odd film that I just had to talk about it in a video. So that's what I'm gonna do. So Brazil is about this government bureaucrat named Sam. No, is it Sam? Well, he's played by Jonathan Price. Oh, look, it's Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He doesn't have that much of a major role. So, I think Sam, we're going to call him Sam because I think that's his name. I'm not too sure. Sam is is a government bureaucrat, and okay, I'm going to try to explain this plot the best because it's a very complex plot to understand. So it's about Sam, this guy, a government bureaucrat who tries to go after this woman who is similar to the one that appears in his dreams, and is revealed that she's working for this terrorist named Archibald Harry Tussle, played by Robert De Niro. This guy right here. So of course things escalate really out of control, and he delves into insanity. And of course, stupid things happen along the way. Stupid and messed up things. Just the messed up things. So the thing about Brazil is that similar to the book 1984, written by George Orwell in 1949, kind of similar to 2012 being made in 2009, or in 2010 or 2001 being made in 1968, or better yet, 2023 made in 4089 or something. But yeah, it's based on 1984 sort of, and it's more of a comedic version of that. Actually, the movie 1984, which was based on a book released in 1949, got turned into a movie in 1984. God damn it, this is so convoluted! And it features similar themes about totalitarianism, hyper consumerism, dystopia. Similar themes about a government taking over the world and turning it into a polluted wasteland where everyone has to abide by the rules, and the people who don't abide by the rules are treated like the scum of the world and are put under scrutiny and are sometimes even killed because of it. Yeah, this is meant to be a comedy, and it is a comedy. It's also a Christmas movie, as you can see about the Christmas decorations in the background. But yeah, Brazil, it's not just a film with heavy themes. It's a dark, dark comedy. I recently watched Parasite, and this is probably the second darkest comedy I've watched. Of course, next to Parasite, which I recently watched as well, like a week ago, more like. What I love about this movie are the themes that it tackles and how messed up it gets by the end, which I'm not gonna spoil because the ending of this. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna spoil. I'm gonna put a spoiler warning here. If you don't continue watching this, just yeah, I'll give my review at the in the description. But yeah, do not watch this for the rest of the video because there are spoilers in this movie. So yeah. So Sam has some fun time with the woman he loves, and unfortunately, this happens. So Sam is arrested and pushed into a cell, and the woman that he loved is dead now, or is she? Because later in the movie, we find out that Sam is about to be killed by his friend Jack Lynn, played by Michael Palin, who is a friend of Terry Gilliam. Also, I can't show the next scene because it's kind of graphic, and I can't really show graphic scenes. Uh, it's about to get graphic. You see, the screen is turning a little bit red. Yeah, but so later in the thing, the uh Tussle, played by Robert De Niro, helps Sam escape from the thing and blows up the Ministry of Information, and they all escape, and eventually his mother, who has been getting a lot of prosthetics, looks like the woman he uh loved, and eventually leads to a really surreal sequence where he falls through like the coffin, and he eventually ends up in this weird surrealistic wasteland. And this entire ending sequence is trippy as all hell. So eventually he ends up in a house with the woman he loves. I know she has a name, but I just can't remember it. But while they're, having a happy life and all, and we think the movie's gonna end, this happens. This weird ending happens.
He's got away from us, Jack. Made you all right, Miss Hellman? He's gone.
So by the end, Sam is driven insane by the crazy, sadistic world that he's been living in all this time, and he's left with his own thoughts until he goes and dies. This is a dark ending for a film like this. Actually, no, it's not that out of reach. It's just a really dark ending, but it's so like it's just one of the best endings to a film I've seen because it has a false sense of security by the end, and then it just hits you with the final reveal that he's just gone insane, driven crazy by this world that he's been living in, and now all he can do is sit with his own thoughts for the rest of his life, I think. So that is where the film ends, and now I talk about my positive. But first, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the positive. I'll leave the one negative of this movie for the end. The set design of this movie is brilliant. Every set looks like it was highly properly made, and it's absolutely magnificent. All the set pieces are fantastically made. I don't know why this didn't win Best Production Design. It's lost to Out of Africa, which just takes place in Africa. Give the damn award to a film about not about Brazil, instead of just biographic a movie about Africa. What the hell even is Out of Africa? No one's seen that except the Academy Awards, and it won Best Picture. Who the hell's Sidney Pollack? What did he direct? Jeremiah Johnson, The Way We Were. No one's seen those movies. Another great thing about this movie is the acting. Sam starts out as this regular guy and then eventually turns into the psychopathic monster, driven insane by the world he's living in, and he just goes off the deep end by the end. Also, I love how the actor just sweats loss in the entire film, like a way of showing that he's just going madder and madder as the film goes on. Robert De Niro also gives a good performance as well as some of the other actors and actresses as well. But Sam Jonathan Pryce is the standout performance here. Who gives and yeah, it's just a great movie. It's just great performances. Really depicting them living in this horrible place called Earth. Now for the characters, of course, I've talked a lot about Sam and how he's, I think, one of the best protagonists in any film. There's also this woman. I don't really know her name, but you don't need to. She's just the woman that Sam loves, and is also working, supposedly working for Tussle. Speaking of Tussle, yeah, he's this guy. He's a repair man who is also a terrorist. Uh, Making a lot of bad things happen. There's also lots of other characters, side characters as well, like these two repair guys. One of them is played by Bob Hoskins, who was in another movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I could talk about these characters for a long time, but I don't have enough time because I have school tomorrow. But yeah, so these are incredibly unlikable characters, but they're just so enjoyable to watch. Another great thing about the movie is the comedy. Yeah, amidst all the dark, brooding atmosphere, there's a lot of dark humor, and it is so mean spirited. I just laugh. I laugh my ass so hard at this movie. Of course, I do think that it's uh actually no, I think this is the funniest black comedy I've seen. Something like Parasite is definitely more on the messed up side of things, but still, Parasite and this are two of the best dark comedies I've ever seen. I do think Parasite is just a little bit more darker. But yeah. Brazil, speaking of the title, why is it called Brazil? It doesn't take place in Brazil. So why is it called Brazil? It's because of the song that plays throughout the movie. Uh, or not throughout the movie, just plays once and then again at the end credits that has Brazil in the title, and that's why the movie is called Brazil. So yeah, there's your reason. It doesn't take place in Brazil. Brazil's never mentioned. It's just because there's a song that has Brazil in the name, and therefore the movie itself is to be called Brazil. What kind of sense does this make? But if there's one negative, any negative with this movie, it's the runtime. This movie is 143 minutes, which I just think is way, way too long. Hell, 1984 I think was shorter than this. What is? 1984. It is shorter. How is that possible? But yeah, 1984. It's also a movie as well, in case you didn't hear me before. But yeah, this movie, this weird movie. Yeah, the runtime is my only problem with this weird ass movie. It's way too long. It could have there could have been a few scenes that could have been cut out. And made it a little bit shorter, like around 2 hours 15 minutes or 2 hours 17 minutes at most would be viable. But 2 hours and 23 is just way too long for a film like this. But yeah, that's my only problem with the movie. Everything else is fantastic. The acting is believable. The story is incredibly complex and messed up. The the characters are mean spirited, unlikable, but incredibly layered and uh like just the set design is fantastic. Some of the best set design in any film I've ever watched. Uh and the comedy is superb. I laughed at almost every single joke in this movie. Just this is a fantastic movie that I think everyone should watch. It may not be in most people's taste, as I've already said, it's way too long, and people might not have that much of an attention span. Why the people playing hockey in a factory? God, this is a funny movie. So yeah, I give this masterpiece a 10 out of 10, and hopefully you watched you if you just watched this without watching the movie first and you just got spoiled about the whole thing, what's wrong with you, as Reggie from Nintendo of America once said. So yeah, this movie is weird. It's weird, it's surreal, it's dark, it's not for everyone, but it's definitely for me, and I definitely enjoy the ever loving hell out of it. Although this does give a new meaning to the term. You're going to Brazil!